Hello boys and girls, it's Ant here, and I'm not playing a free-to-play game today. I'm playing Colin McRae Rally 2.0. It's a HD version of 2.0. It's just been released on Steam. That makes me happy in my pants, because it's one of my favourite games. It's one I played a ridiculous amount back in the day. What they've basically done, you'll see when we go into it, is they've taken the original PSOne game, given it a bit of a makeover in many ways. The car models are better, texture quality is all better, obviously it's in HD, all that sort of stuff. But they've kind of kept the style, the graphical style of the PSOne game. So all the geometry is still angular. There's still like flat walls of trees, and the trees themselves, the ones that they do that aren't flat walls, are still sprites that turn with you when you turn. They constantly face you. So we're going to have a look at this. It's got controller support, which is well handy. I saw someone on the comments saying they couldn't map the keys to the right and left trigger on the controller, but they were on that by default. Graphical settings are really simple. There's high or low graphics, but that's because it's made in Unity. You don't tend to get flashy graphical settings in Unity. You can have transmission, auto, manual. I always play an auto on this. I love this game a ridiculous amount. I've just got out my PS1 copy of the game just to remind myself I did still have it. Right. What I say we're going to do is we're going to play through a stage of the championship, I think. I've done a quick race on the rally just to check I remember how to play it. I remember how the handling goes, and it feels exactly like it used to. Alright, so you have to work your way through the challenges. There's basically, I think there was 6 championships in all, if I remember rightly. Mix B, yeah. Introduction championship to unlock this. Right, start the championship. The opponents will be slow to help you get used to handling controls. Yeah. There's not many cars in this game. If I remember rightly, there wasn't that many cars on the PS1 version. I'm just going to get the book out and see if the instruction book said how many cars were on the... I have got the game right next to me. How many cars were there on the PS1 game? Let's see, does it say? I don't think it does anyway, does it? Just to be irritating. So I saw someone else complaining there's not many cars in the game. Right, Mitsubishi Lancer, Peugeot 206, Seat Cordoba, Ford Focus, Subaru Impreza, and Toyota Corolla. Well, we got the Ford Focus, got a Subaru Impreza, it's the Mitsubishi Lancer. That's another Lancer. That's the old style Lancer, isn't it? Or is that the Toyota Corolla? Am I being drunk? No, it's Mitsubishi Lancer as well. That's the old 70s Lancer. So yeah, it hasn't got all the games the original had. Hasn't all the cars the original had. It's got the Toyota Corolla, Peugeot 206, and the Seat Cordoba. But yeah, they had to relicense them, wouldn't they? And chances are you get some companies where they don't like their old cars appearing in the games again. They don't want the new ones. So yeah, personal best time on this, 19 minutes 29. Now, this is going to be a bit alien to a lot of Americans, if any Americans are watching this, because I know that they don't really get rally driving. Rally driving, you're not racing against other cars, you're racing against the time. So you have to basically set the time, and the other cars in the race are setting their times. You'll see. But yeah, I always thought this was the purest of all the Sega Rally games. See what I mean about the trees there, they're constantly facing the camera. Right, hopefully I can do this without cocking up too much. I did just race this exact set of courses, so it should be okay. Whoop. Blimey, I've shattered my windows already. That's not good. Every 2 rounds you get to repair your car. You basically have an hour time limit to repair your car with, and each unit of the damage that the car's taken is like 5 minutes of time, so you have to spend your time wisely, decide how much you're going to repair. If you've really damaged your car, then you'll be in a situation where you can't possibly repair the whole thing. Blimey, I'm losing control. Have I cocked up one of the wheels on that first little impact I did? I don't think I have. I think I'm fine. It makes funny noises when all that starts to break. Ah, there's Eastman. Eastex has signed on. He writes for Windows Phone Central. He used to write for that Co-Optimus website, which is worth a read if you've never read it. I had to go slow there. I kind of cocked up that corner. I was too busy looking at my people logging in on my Steam. I should probably find out what the handbrake button is on this. To be honest, if I race badly it doesn't really matter, because the CPU on this stage is ridiculously easy. Right, when you get to jumps like that, it'll warn you of a jump coming. You kind of want to slow down. the temptation is there obviously to take a massive great big jump and hit it as fast as you can because it looks cool. But if you don't go perfectly central off of it, off a flat surface, your car's going to start to spin. You'll end up in a lot of trouble. Plus, when you come off a jump, obviously, you land, you lose speed, you damage your suspension. So, you know, you really want to avoid that. Ooh, going over a crest. Oh god, I'm going to zip in between those trees because I wasn't going to make that turn. Right. You do slow down when you go off the road, which you want to avoid, even though it's off-road rallying. But yeah, Colin McRae Rally 2.0, this was like a game that I loved on the PS1. I've still got my copy, as you noticed when I was looking at the instruction book just now. It was one of my favourite games. It was a real evolution of the first game. The first game was really bare bones, but the second one introduced a lot more little mechanics and systems. It started off, it was part of that whole trend of PS1 games where there was minimalist menus and design, like the way it was all put together. It's carried over into this version here. Set trends back then. And there was a whole series of Colin McRae Rally games, which, you know, most of you probably remember as stuff like the Dirt games nowadays. They're sort of like the spawn of the Colin McRae games. If I remember rightly, I don't think this one ever had the head-to-head races, which they started doing in rallying around this time. Because basically they were trying to make rallying a bit more popular. It picked up a certain level of popularity, and I'd like to think some of it was due to how successful the first two Colin McRae Rally games were. But they basically had a problem that they couldn't really sell it overseas because the cars were always just driving on their own, and whilst British viewers, Scottish and Irish and all that, and a lot of European viewers loved that, that's something a lot of countries don't get into. They want to see cars going toe to toe with each other. So they started doing these head-to-head races. That's the first one over with. Look, you see how far ahead I finished, ahead of Colin McRae. Colin McRae himself finished 1 minute 24 seconds behind me. It's going to be fairly easy to pass through this, I think. But yeah, the head-to-head races were quite cool. I'm pretty sure they're not in this one. I don't think they put them in until Colin McRae Rally 3. I remember V-Rally, I think, was the first game to have them in. But yeah, they were quite cool. They had like figure 8 tracks. It was kind of like Scalextrics in a lot of ways because the tracks kind of mirrored each other. So there was a point where they would cross over, so each car would have the same amount of track and corners to hit, like the same amount of inside corners, same amount of outside corners to race around. They were quite cool. I used to watch a lot of rally driving back then because I got into it thanks to this game. And poor Colin McRae's dead now. So I guess all proceeds from this game, or some of them, go to his family. Isn't that nice? Yeah, if you don't remember Colin McRae, he was a very famous rally driver for a number of years. It was between him and Richard Burns, who was the most famous rally driver at the time. He was the top one. Colin McRae died in a helicopter accident, which was terrible. But trust Colin McRae to race his way around these tracks, showing how much of a badass he is with a car. I just went the wrong way. That was dreadful. You know, driving one of the most dangerous driving motorsports there is, and it takes a helicopter to take him down. Oh, that was action packed, and that probably fucked my suspension, as did that. Slow down, slow down. It is possible to flip the car. If you press the back button, you reset. Yeah, there you go. Right, that's a nice short one, that. Let's so there you go, see my damage. Right, so we're going to have to repair things. We definitely want engine, transmission, suspension. They're dead important. We've got enough time to repair everything. Awesome. On to stage 3. 3, 2, 1, go. The attention to detail they've gone to, like, keep the graphics sort of PS1 era-ish. Like, they could have just redone everything flashy. But the thing is, obviously they're not porting over the graphics from the PS1. Like, they wouldn't have made the tree sprites and everything that flashy originally on the PS1 version. They probably had photos that they took them from, so maybe they've still got them on file. But they wouldn't have ever bothered rendering the graphics like that and then downscaling them. So this is like, they've basically redone everything and redrawn it to look like a PS1 game, but oh shit. but look flash and crisp. It's going to be interesting how some people take it. I know there's certain people out there, they like their HD remakes to be completely flashy and redone in every way. I prefer them to sort of, if they're not going to be just a high-res version of the original graphics, I like them to be sort of inspired by the original graphics, not completely redrawn. Like Bionic Commando was cool and everything, but it kind of lost a lot of the retro field style to it because it just looked a lot flashier. It was quite a nice game still though. I mean they tried their best to maintain the old look, but it didn't, you know, have that aesthetic that a NES game had anymore. That recent Strider game as well, that's another example. Not a HD remake of course, but it's very much an attempt to maintain the style of the old Strider games. But it looks way too flashy. But then I think of things like Chaos Engine and those Mega Man games that came out where they did a really good job of keeping the style of the original games whilst updating them for HD. That Chaos Engine actually, the Bitmap Brothers remake, is well worth checking out. It's much better than the Speedball remake they did. The Speedball remake looks dreadful. They redrew all the sprites and they look really amateurish. What's another good example of a HD remake? Oddworld. That new Oddworld. What are they calling it? New Abe's Odyssey version. I can't remember what they're calling it. It's got a funny subheading. But basically they've redone all the graphics in 3D rather than using sprites, and they've kept it looking exactly the same as it used to. It basically, like, it looks like the original renders they did that they then turned into sprites. Oh, solid trees. But the camera now moves about on it, so it maintains the original game's look, but hasn't done anything ridiculous to it. I do like that sort of aesthetic. Sometimes it works. I mean, the version of Castlevania Rondo of Blood that was done for PSP was beautifully managed. They matched all the movement and everything on that. The animation frames, like, even though it was three-dimensional and dealing with a lot more frames of animation per second than the original game was, it still maintained that look, that style. Every element of Richter Belmont's Stride was exactly the same as the original PC Engine version. It's beautiful, that PSP remake. Although they put a remake of Symphony of the Night on it, I say a remake, they put a new version of Symphony of the Night on it and they redid all the voiceovers. It was just horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I don't want the voiceovers redone on that game. You can't have Symphony of the Night and not have the friggin' line, you know, what is a man? You cannot have that. Of course the remake everyone wants is blooming Final Fantasy VII, isn't it? I would be happy with Final Fantasy VII just redone widescreen with pretty much the similar graphics. Or maybe if they just did like nicer graphics for the battle section and used those models in the main game maybe, or shrunk versions of them. But yeah, everyone wants Final Fantasy VII. The version that's out on Steam is alright, but typical Japanese PC game, it's a bit of a mess when it comes to controlling it, and there's no mod cons on it. If you're wondering what the arrows are, they're telling me what the corners are. I mean, you probably figured that out. It's Nicky Grist, who worked with Colin McRae's co-pilot, co-driver. Saying there, that's one thing in rally driving that don't get in any other sport. There's two guys in the car. You'll have Colin doing the driving, and the co-driver will be calling out what corners are coming up. Like, obviously the rally driver knows the course, but he knows what to prepare for as they go along. It's quite a nice dynamic between them because the co-driver really does make a difference to how a rally driver races. Ooh, tight turn coming up. Look at that. Textbook drifting, sort of. Whee. Anyway, I'm going out later tonight to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. I will be putting a review up on filmdump.com, which will probably be tomorrow night, I reckon, because tonight I'm going to be busy, so I'm not going to have a chance to write it. Plus, I haven't slept in like 36 hours, so I'm probably going to want to fall asleep as soon as I get back from the cinema, to be honest. I've barely eaten in the last 48 hours because I was skint and then ran out of food in my cupboard. So it's been a very fun last day. I'm going to eat so much stuff tonight. I only had like 30p left in my bank account, so I couldn't buy myself any food. Such is life of being poor. As soon as I got paid, I bought this. It only came out today. Ooh. Oh dear. Comos catching a bit of flack today as well, makers of this game, because they've announced that the new Formula 1 2014 is not going to come out on PS4 and Xbox One, which I suppose a lot of people might be unhappy about that, but it's because what they're planning for the PS4 and Xbox One version is going to be something a little bit different. They're going to utilise all the updating abilities those consoles have, the fact that those consoles can constantly update a lot more freely than they do on the current gen, well, the old gen consoles, to constantly update the roster. Their plan is to release the Formula 1 game earlier in the season and then update the standings and the drivers as the race goes on. So if anyone if anything happens during the season, they can add it into the game. Right, slow down here, don't want to hit that jump. Oh! Oh shit. Well, I'm still alive. Oh my god. All that rattling noise you can hear is various parts of the car falling to pieces. Still got the bumper though. If I remember rightly, it's possible to have the bumper hanging off and dragging along the road. I did manage to knock it completely off in the last run I did. There you go. Right. Is that the end? Yes. See how far ahead I am on the CPU. It was never really a super tricky game, this, to be honest. Yeah, shit. Right, I've got 1 hour to repair this. Right, we're going to need the engine fixed. Oh shit. Can I continue? Resume. Phew. Right. I pressed B. I thought B would reduce the amount of repairs been done. Right, I think that's going to have to be it. I'm going to have to race the last 2 races with some amount of damage. If I remember rightly, one of these courses is quite twisty-turny. Off we go. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, my bodywork's still screwed up. I need to wash the car though. I'm going to have to be careful, so I might take a few corners the boring way. I suppose doing that flip on that jump probably didn't do my car much good. Which is bizarre, you'd think it'd be fine. This is actually one of the first racing games I remember playing that reminded me that every now and again you might want to use the brakes. So, just trying to remember if this came out before Gran Turismo did. I think it did. I used to love Gran Turismo on PS1 as well, actually. Might do that on the channel at some point. Do a Mellow game with Paul where we play the Gran Turismo 2. I've still got that with the scratch and sniff disc. Oh, whoa. Phew, just missed them. Oh, shit. Blimey. I did that last time as well. I've been looking at the reviews for this game, and there's a lot of people not realising, and they seem to be going, oh great, is that you've remade it, but they're not paying attention to the fact that it is literally a remake of the original game. Like, in a lot of ways, I don't think there's much different, really, from what I remember. I haven't played the original for a long time, of course. But they were moaning that you can't change tyres and stuff like that. That was, as far as I remember, that was never in the game. They didn't introduce that until much later. It was more just there to tell you what to expect. Uh-oh. I've got a feeling that the last stage of this race is going to be quite tricky. you can get to the point where your car barely wants to respond and you'll be just like grinding along everything. Would have been nice if after the 6th stage you could see how much damage you've taken overall in the end. Right, this corner's nice and gentle. One thing you can do on this is use the D-pad as well if you want to recreate the PSOne era controls exactly. I like this part of the race, you just go in a straight line. Got to make sure you don't hit that barrier though. And there's a bit of a corner coming up at the end. There you go, perfect. Round. Hopefully this looks alright on the video. I'm not too keen on doing racing games a lot of the time. After I did Sonic Racing Transformed, it kind of realised how crap YouTube is at keeping the video quality high on games that run fast, you know. Anything that's got quick moving stuff going on. I remember I got the videos recorded on my hard drive that I actually recorded and they look fine, but you put them up on YouTube and everything goes all blocky and artifacting everywhere. Right, I made it through that alright. Right, how far am I ahead? I'm 5 minutes ahead of Colin McRae. I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble here. Who else is in the race? Lots of... Oh, there's only 5. Is there only 5 people in the race? That's it. Oh, it goes down one at a time. I thought we went down the whole group at a time. So I'm 8 minutes 36 ahead of the last placer. Right. Last stage. My car does look like crap. I do wish there was a front view option on this. I've checked all the buttons, there isn't. There is a cockpit view you can have if you want to get the camera inside. That tiny little tree. Yeah, universally every tree will stop you in your tracks. Doesn't matter how small it is. But like I say, they're keeping this true to the PSOne game. They haven't gone and changed elements of it to modernise it. They've kept the same sort of feel. It really does feel a lot like it. I mean, I'm using an analog stick to steer the car, but it doesn't actually work like an analog stick. It's still playing like the PS1 version. It's very much a digital input. There's no slight movement to it. I mean, like I'm barely moving the analog stick there and it's doing the same sort of turn it would any other time. There we go. I'm going to use the D-pad for a second just to show you. Exactly the same. Fun fact about the Gran Turismo games that a lot of people don't realise, when they say the steering feels janky, part of it you should consider is that the lead designer on the game, he used the D-pad to control the game with. I remember back when the PS3 version, the first PS3 Gran Turismo was being made, and they were talking to him about it. I can't remember his name now, the guy who creates Gran Turismo. But they noted that he was using the D-pad on the PS3 controller to control the game. So that'll tell you a little bit of something about why the Gran Turismo games still feel all janky and stuff. Oh god, I fell over there. Good job there's a reset button. There's quite a few rally games on the PS1 era as well. Oh my god, look how much my exhaust pipe's sticking out. The bumpers come off. Yeah, there was a V-Rally, was really popular. That had the course creator in it, which was awesome. You could actually design your own courses, like putting together Scalextrics. Richard Burns Rally, which was like the proper hardcore rally driving game. There was another one. Can't remember what the other one was. There was another rally game. V-Rally was released in America by EA instead of Infogrames, and it was called Need for Speed V-Rally over there. It's a really weird random entry in the Need for Speed series, completely out of place with the rest of them. It's a shame V-Rally kind of died out though. It was quite a good little series of games. It had so much content in it for a PS1 game. Nowadays you expect the amount of content that game had all the time and everything, but yeah, that game was amazing. It's track creation and everything. Sega Rally obviously was out in the arcades around this time as well, and there was a Sega Saturn version, I believe. I can't remember if there was or not. Oh heck, I hit a rock. I remember playing Sega Rally on the PS2 version. I think there was a Dreamcast one as well. Never really got into Sega Rally. Always found it tricky to control, I say as I go flying off the corner. Remember, you don't want to jump. Slow down. And there's the finish line. Meow. There we go. See, it's nice and easy. That's the first race, obviously. There's a reason it's easy. There you go, I got 10 points. Cool. Congratulations, you finished the introduction to the first position. You have unlocked the following content: Australia Rally Series. Did I just do Australia? Let's see. I guess that means I've unlocked it in the Australia Rally Series 2. Yeah. Because there's 2 rallies in Australia. If I remember rightly, I think that was in the first game. I can't remember. Oh, that's another thing about rally driving. Yeah, they do races on Saturday and then races on Sunday. So there's 2 lots of races for everything. So what we got? We've got Australia, Greece, France, and that's it. No United Kingdom. Oh, outrageous. So there is something missing from this compared to the original. No United Kingdom. I'm upset. Hey, Lee, just Big Lee. Lee Evan. Lee, what's your name? Yeah, Lee. Get UK added. So yeah, that is Colin McRae Rally 2.0. It's a damn fine little game. If you want a bit of retro PSOne era style racing fun, you can't go wrong with that. I'm going to go render this video and put it up on the internet, which is pointless me telling you, because by the time you see this it'll be up on the internet. So till next time, bye.